back to Fear Not Farm. We are going to be sowing some oats, but not just oats. We're going to be sowing some clover in with them. I should have went and fed a bale of hay first. Amazon was right behind me. Lucky I didn't back into him. I didn't even see him parked right there. Sneaky. My phone was trying to connect to the house or something. I hate that. If it's bad signal, just automatically go to my phone. But I've got a little, man, my allergies with this wind are killing me. I've got a little piece of cross fencing I got to go through. I got to open the gate. When I get out to open the gate, I'm running. And then whenever I get out to open the gate, it's the cross fencing. Holy cow! I don't know what's in the air today, but probably chemtrails. About to kill me. I got Augie staring at me. I need to get him separated. Son of a... I'm glad that happened. Well, bear with me. Alright. That's a pretty good fit. I don't know why it just fell off there. Yeah, that's what I figured. Can't see out the front of the camera. Let me go open my gate, and I'll be right back with y'all. It'd be nice if I had a gate opener hand just to run around with me and open gates. That's the only bad thing about regeneratively farming is you're going to have a lot of gates. Now I got to go shut the gate. I am back. Every time they think I'm going to feed them. I don't know how many times I've got to drive through here without feeding them before they finally give up. Hopefully I don't shock myself. The other day I forgot that I tied in my cross fencing to my hot wire and it lit me up. It had not been hooked up for quite a while, and I don't understand why this won't stay. Yeah, there's a little vibration, but it ought to stay. Window's not even that dusty. Window must not be very flat. I mean, I couldn't pull that off there without breaking this clamp, so I don't know why it keeps falling off. Alright, one more gate. Oh, actually, I lied. There will be one more. But I can leave the other one open because I ain't got no cows on that side. Now, let's go sow some oats. So, I finally have a cab tractor, and here I am in March in Oklahoma wishing the air conditioner worked in my cab tractor. I tell you, I'm not a fan of a hot winter. I'm a fan of a mild winter, but to me there's a big difference between a hot winter and a mild winter. This is not just a mild winter, this is a stinking hot winter. I mean, we did have a couple of weeks of cold weather, but normally we've got, you know, a week of cold weather, a week or two of mild. A week of cold weather, you know, usually it's kind of back and forth the whole winter. It has been pretty much hot and just a little short period of cold weather. But this is just ridiculously hot. And I did charge my air conditioner on this tractor last night, but I found a leak and it's already leaked out, so that leak's got to get fixed before it's going to hold. Got quite a bit of green stuff growing over here where the cows aren't at. The theory will be to just put, I'm not going to put any expensive seed in this ground because the cows are going to get moved over here. But I did put some yellow sweet clover. And I tell you, it's not cheap. It's about $190 for 50 pounds. I put 7 pounds to the acre over on that last patch I just sowed, which there will be a video on that, a long format video. But because I spent so much money on that seed, the cows ain't going to be allowed in there for a while. So I'm going to sow oats real heavy on the rest of my place, and hopefully boost their forage up until grass season's here. Because despite the fact that it's hot, it's not grass season yet. Oh, these compact tractors will beat you plumb to death. And that's really the only reason I'm not using my Coyote, because it's a little bit smaller than this one, and it will just beat you up trying to sow with a drill behind it on this crazy rough ground I got. Got to open one more gate. Man, I wish I had a side window that would flip open, and you know, I could drive with the door open, but that's dangerous. These doors are not cheap. So I do have a ton of clover growing in here right now. Let me get you turned around. This is the 3 acres in the back we kind of call our food plot. That's what we're fixing to sow. You can see it's pretty green right here. Maybe through the windshield. Pretty green. I don't know what my service is like. You probably can't see it because my service isn't up to par to stream that high resolution, but we're going to drop the drill and start drilling. We're putting about 50 pounds of oats to the acre right now, but I've still got some yellow sweet clover left over in there. Once I'm out of that yellow sweet clover, I'm going to change the settings to about 80 pounds to the acre and really sow the oats super dense on the rest of my place because I want lots of forage. Format video out with some drone footage on how we, or not really how, but just of the process. And also there'll be some footage on like a walk around on the grain drill. Dang. My allergies are killing it. Walk around on this grain drill and some different settings on this Great Plains no-till. Man, my wheat's really coming back. The deer, I put wheat in here in the fall, the deer really hammered it, and I thought they killed it, but it's looking fairly thick in here, so we'll see. Honestly, I'm kind of thinking about getting out and shutting my oats off, or not my oats, but my clover, putting it in a different spot. God dang! You know what? I'm gonna shut the clover off because I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna put these wildflowers down in another spot. So, man, I can't believe my allergies. I like how my phone just locked it. I didn't even know I had comments in here. My phone wasn't showing those. Hello, Justin. Yeah, you never know how our spring or late winter is going to be. I'm really banking on some rain putting them down. I'm gonna shut my oats off. Or not my oats, but gotta get something to smack it. I'm gonna shut my clover off because I'm looking out here and I got a ton of clover growing in here. So I'm gonna save the yellow sweet clover that I got. I know I got a crescent wrench in here. Probably lost another crescent wrench. Probably left it sitting on top of the drill. Alright, so I kind of wanted to sow these in here because I had a bunch of rapeseed, but Shayla wanted these wildflowers put down. So I think I'll save what's in here so I can put the wildflowers and the clover on a different patch. Because I've just got so much clover already growing. It's been pretty dry out here though. Man, there's some pretty big seed. Hopefully those don't top up my small seed box. I don't know what those are. I like how there's sunflower seeds in there, but it said that it was for March planting in Oklahoma. Sunflowers ain't gonna do too good. Who knows? May have just wasted 28 bucks on those seeds. Maybe not. Here's the setup that I'm sowing them with. This is rented from the conservation district, the USDA conservation district. It's about a $20,000 drill, maybe 30 if you were to go buy it new. I see them used for about 12 to 18,000 depending on how used they are. So it's a great benefit to be able to rent that. Like I said, I'm back here on what I call my deer food plot. I do have some steers that ultimately are going to be turned out in here. So it'd be good to have some extra forage for them. And really, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm just trying to build soil health, just trying to grow as much biomass and carbon as I can. So I don't know if you guys know this, but when you look at a great big old tree, up to 95% of a plant's mass, the trunk of it, the leaves, the branches, up to 95% of that consists of carbon that they sink out of the atmosphere. Now, so what I'm trying to do is grab as much of that carbon as I can, because carbon is what life is based off of. So you're a carbon-based life form. My cows are carbon-based forms, and we all depend on carbon. Plants just do it in a little different way. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows what photosynthesis is, right? But so through photosynthesis, these trees and other organisms and plants capture that carbon, and that carbon is what's going to hold the water in your soil. It's what's going to build you a good, healthy soil. Oh, look, there's some antler rubs I hadn't noticed before. We definitely have plenty of clover in this patch. I put like 3 different kinds down when I sowed some stuff in here back during the fall. So really, we're just gonna. It really looks like my wheat's gonna take back off. I almost feel like this is a waste of sowing anything in here. I thought my wheat was dead for a while. See if I can't grab another gear and get moving. This little patch was real overgrown when we bought this property. It had a lot of woody brush growing up in it, and I came in here and brush hogged it, but I did leave 3 little patches of plum thicket, sand plums, because this is kind of a wildlife habitat. So I want to leave some good stuff in here for them. I may put some fence around it so that one day when my goats are back here, they're not killing it all. What's that say? I think my screen bounced away too much to read that. the acre, I shouldn't out-compete the clover that I put in here. Shouldn't do anything but maybe help it. I wish this mountain you could see another view. Palm tree down here at this corner of trying to debate on just running it over or letting it grow out. I mentioned I did put a cover crop in here back during the fall, and the clover did really good using it. If you go back and you want to watch the video, I use this little ATV, kind of a no-till or a limited till kind of. I call them a, but did a real good job on the clover. The wheat did okay. Some spots the wheat, I can see the wheat is still doing pretty good. In some spots it's like the wheat is non-existent. So really that's the main reason we're going back over it here in the spring. They didn't have this big drill available whenever I had time to put it in. So I just did what I could. Holy cow. But I imagine this plot right here, if I get some rain this week, the amount of clover that already has a head start, this thing's gonna do real well. seem like they've touched them, to be honest. Hopefully I'm not going to damage them too much by going down here and sowing over the top of them. I kind of like them to grow up too. Hopefully we get a good stand of just such a, we'll have wheat, we'll have oats, we'll have winter beans, we'll have, I went and turned the clover back on, just not quite as high. I'll put about 3 pounds to the acre a bit now. There's some rapeseed in there. Hopefully we can just get a good mix and look at everything. Tell where I've sown and where I haven't. So another video, long format video we'll be having come out here soon is going to be soil testing and kind of what I've learned with soil testing and I'll be sharing some of that along with you. And that'll give you a better, if you want to know kind of what kind of property we're dealing with here, it'll give you a better idea of our starting point. What we really want to lean towards is documenting the reclamation of this property. It's never just really been taken care of. It's not a bad property for the area. I could take you to a lot worse ones that have been just completely farmed to death. But I want to show people that you can fix a farm without using chemical or limited usage of it. Now, I'll be honest, what I am thinking about doing is doing a top dressing. So I've got about 13 acres of just some of the worst ground I've ever seen. I kind of think maybe it was contaminated with oil-filled spill, saltwater spill. So I am considering maybe doing a natural application of gypsum, depending on what the soil sample shows. So I did test for salt, which is kind of expensive. I did test for salt on that side of the property. And then, depending on what else it shows, I may consider applying some phosphorus or something along those lines to really just help my sweet clover get a good root. Because I want my sweet clover to come back from year to year. So when it comes to that sweet clover, if it doesn't establish a good root, it's not going to come back the next year. But if it does establish a good root, the second year that it's in the ground, it'll come and seed up for you. And I don't know if anybody's chatting because earlier, until I closed it and brought it back up by accident, I see comments. Boy, this is easy drilling back in here on this one. Whenever I was down on the bad side I was talking about, that I was trying to do all the soil amendments to, they like to beat me to death. hot. We didn't hardly have any wind. I may just run over these pecan trees. I'd kind of like to get some better oaks. I don't know how long a bur oak takes to start producing acorns, but I'd really like to have about 2 or 3 bur oaks back here on this 3 acres. I mean, ain't nothing a deer prefers more than just giant golf ball sized acorns. I like pecan trees because they grow real big, and I like to eat the pecans on them, but I don't know that a deer eats pecans. If we get rain here in the next few days, it allows my allergies to come back down. Do is choke the sage grass out that's back here. Now my cows did eat it I let them back in here before I got in here and tilled it in the fall, and the cows did get after it pretty good around the bottoms, but they will not touch that seed stem. Almost a useless grass. If it didn't hold the dirt down, I'd call it useless. stuff out, like these gopher mounds and stuff, this thing is super heavy, and it relies a lot on that weight for the disc openers and stuff to work. So therefore, on these gopher mounts, it really lays them down flat when the discs and the packer wheels and everything goes through. So as long as I'm consistently doing stuff like this, it should always help with my roughness of my ground. looking. I was just looking at a pile where the llama had crapped, and man, that weed was like 6 inches tall right there. Maybe I just